Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, episode 7. Of course, I am your host, Maz, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Ben and Ryan. How are we, chaps? We all good?
Oof. So frustrated.
I mean, I think every pod that I ask that question, we're all pretty miserable, which is never good.
Maz is so stressed he shaved his head right after kickoff. Right after full time, sorry.
Yeah, basically, yeah. For everyone who's watching on YouTube and can see me right now, I have got an egg head. I did shave it all off, not because of Brighton. I mean, it could have easily been because of Brighton,
yeah.
But yeah.
Makes you do the same things sometimes.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it looks too bad. I think it looks all right.
Leave your comments. Leave a comment on YouTube if you like it or not.
Just comment on egg.
Yeah. If you like it, leave loads of egg emojis. That'd be great. But no, of course, it's not been great. So we are filming this straight after the game with Burnley, and of course, it was a 0-0 draw. Now, let's just get straight into the analysis of the game, then, boys. So let's start with you, Ben. What's your initial sort of raw feelings just about the game as a whole?
Well, I think the game can be summed up in like our first chance. Straight away, Lamptey should have scored, but he didn't.
Yeah. And
that was literally us. Well, to be fair to Burnley, the first 18 minutes, I'd say, be that precise, they were all over us. And I thought, we're going to lose here. We came back into it.
They had a chance, didn't they? Within 4 minutes. So, we had the chance in the first minute. Then they had one on I think it was the fourth minute with Lallana. You know, when he hit the crossbar?
Yeah, God.
When Ryan was like flapping at it. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good start for both teams in a weird way, but obviously, nothing came of it. So
we were good to come back in the match, though. I thought, when we got to the 18th minute, we came back into the match, and I was pleased to see that, and I thought we were actually going to push on, but obviously, going on our recent track record, that never happens now, apparently.
Yeah. And what about you, Ryan? I know you weren't too happy.
It's so annoying. It's just like, again, it's the same thing, isn't it? I think we've had another 19 shots. I think it's difficult to point fingers at Potter this time because maybe you could say his subs come a bit late. But overall, there's nothing that he can do. Again, it's down to the players, it's down to the attackers more specifically. But on a positive note, because I don't want to be the Great Depression on this game because everyone's feeling the same right now. But I will say Adam Lallana is class. I really, really do like him.
He was brilliant.
He's that sort of experience, that class in midfield that we've desperately lacked, I think, for years. And he's maybe not something we considered before, but now that we've got him, we're like, wow, we really did need him. And I'm a big fan of it.
No, 100%. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I said it on the pod or not, on the podcast before, but I was quite doubtful about him just because of his injury record. I was a bit, can he actually, play 90 minutes week in, week out?
Yeah, he hadn't done a 90, had he, before? He had done a 90 in 3 years. So now he's done 2 on the trot. It's like,
it's mental, isn't it? It's mental. So I was actually well worried about him. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't sure how he performed, but he's been by far our best player, quite easily. So so just going back to the first early chances then. So we had Lamptey. So great play. Let's talk about Lallana Welbeck actually, because I thought
he's made you look like a right mug, Maz.
I know. He's mugged me right off, but I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy he's mugged me off because at least it shows we've got something else up front and another option. But I agree with what Ryan said earlier. I feel like maybe he could have been dragged a little bit earlier, maybe, and had put. I think it's he got dragged on the 85th minute for Connolly.
Yeah, Connolly and Jahan Bash come on.
Yeah, why didn't Potter do it a bit earlier? That's my only maybe sort of criticism in that respect. But anyway, going back to the original point, Danny Welbeck, I thought he was class, and he obviously set up Lamptey for the first chance. And Lamptey, to be fair, I don't think it was a bad error. He had his shot and it didn't go in. So it was one of those tough ones. But I thought it was good play from Danny Welbeck. The way he set him up, he looked back. Obviously, Ben Mee, I think, slipped, wasn't it? He slipped over.
Yeah.
Which presented the chance. So, it was very, very straight. And then, of course, they went literally 3 minutes after and went in, hit the crossbar. And I thought Matty Ryan's going to get lobbed here. I was thinking, oh God.
I was praised. That was the moment when we wanted Robert Sanchez in goal because he was 6 foot, 5 or whatever.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So let's go back to that. Actually, we completely skipped that. Actually, why wasn't Sanchez in the squad? Do we know?
I don't get that. I really for his confidence, for the sake of a 22-year-old goalkeeper, you're given your chance, you do well, and then you're not even in the squad. I was really baffled to see that. I mean, I've got to be honest, I still think he should be in the team. To be honest, I like his, as I said last week, his distribution and the fact he's a presence. I love Matty and what he's done for the last couple of years, but if we're looking at progressing, and plus the height thing as well, I think that Sanchez has got to be in there for the sake of that alone. Because as you saw, that Lowton chant, however you say his name, that chant, and it was literally just a dead cross. It was going over it. I think any goalkeeper would have just tipped that over, wouldn't they? Especially Sanchez.
Yeah. But
that was a scare.
Yeah, I was lucky.
I know,
Very lucky.
Obviously, as a fellow small man, I've got to defend Matty. For a short guy, he's actually a decent. Like I think the commentator said it. He mentioned his height and said something about he's. I think it was Michael Owen. Shock. At half time, he was banging on about his height and saying that for such a small keeper, he's actually very good. Which
what channel was that on, Maz? Do you remember?
I was watching it on a perfectly legal stream.
Oh, right, okay, so, yeah, fair.
No,
I did see Michael Owen on Sky Box Office. That was weird.
I mean, I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot to pay for it.
Yeah, neither am I.
I'm not going to ask. Actually, I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, it was a perfectly legal stream, just for the tax man or whoever wants to come get me. But no, yeah. So Michael Owen mentioned it at half time about his height, and no, I think it is a valid point. But he's a great shot stopper, and I do really like Matty Ryan. Like I think Ryan, you mentioned it last week. You said he's been a great servant, which he has. You can't take that away from him. He's been there. Some crucial saves in the past. But I agree with you, Ryan. I think it's time for Sanchez or I'd quite like to see Walton as well. Maybe get given a chance.
Well, I don't know. How many did he concede today in the under-23s against United?
4. Was it 4?
4.
5.
What was it? But yeah, I know. Saying Ryan's time to go. I don't know. I think today he actually had a pretty decent game, apart from the scare when it hit the crossbar. And for the threat that Burnley possessed on their corners, he handled that quite well.
True.
I was quite surprised at how well he did.
I'm not saying axe him, chop him now. No. I think the point I'm trying to make is maybe for at the end of the season, I think we should have a hard look at where he's going to play. Like, is he going to be second choice? Is he going to be first choice? I think we need to, now is the time to look at it, even maybe in January or something, just to basically not have this. Because I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I hate having that with your first team keeper. It should be your first team keeper, so he's the first player on the team sheet.
Yeah. So
you don't have any kind of what's the word? Not controversy, but basically a cloud over selection over the keeper, because I think that's the most important position to have straight away. Yeah. So I don't want that sort of being up in the air every game. All the fans moaning.
On that, I agree. You need to have a number one keeper without a doubt. But then also at the same time, if they're not performing and they are making regular mistakes, they shouldn't feel as though they're invincible and they can't be taken out of the team. Because I think that's maybe what Matty Ryan got to, maybe a state of complacency, because he knew, all with due respect to Jason Steele, he hasn't had the best of careers. So he knew he probably didn't have to perform at the top level every single game and every single training session. So maybe now with Sanchez, it could boost him a little bit, because he knows that if he doesn't perform, he's got a good young talent behind him who could take his spot for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
No, 100%. No, I think that's spot on. We'll see how that develops. But no, I don't think any of us are sitting here going, get rid of Ryan. But I think we'd like to see Sanchez be given a chance, maybe, I suppose. So then for the rest of the game, really, there was a couple of incidents, I want to talk about. So, of course, there was two sort of half penalty shouts. There was the first one was the Charlie Taylor block around the 60th minute, which I personally didn't think it was a penalty. No. I don't know about you guys. No. Because he had it in a natural position, and I don't think there's much really to talk about on that one. But then the second one I did want to talk about was the one from it was from Lallana. Sorry, where was it? It was from Lallana, and he hit it on. I think it's Lowton, how you say it. Yeah, Lowton's arm. It was around about the 80th minute. Now, I personally think his arm was it went a bit unnatural. He raised it a little bit. Me personally, so I think that was a much stronger case of a penalty. But again, I can see why it wasn't given. But I don't know about you chaps, what you guys thought.
Well, I reckon at the beginning of the season, that was probably going to be given a pen. But after so much controversy that happened at the beginning of the season, I think maybe refs are less strict on those kind of handballs. I would have been very disappointed if that was given against me. Definitely.
No, that's true. Yeah. No,
I'm almost glad. I mean, it's weird to say, but I'm almost glad that wasn't given a penalty, because then you'd have to keep doing that every week, wouldn't you? You'd have to say that's a penalty every week. Unfortunately,
I agree.
No. Fair play.
But sorry,
all right, well,
before the 60th minute, I'll have to say that when we were looking really, really shaky, and even to be fair, throughout the whole game, the amount of times we gave the ball away so cheaply, and I hate naming names, but Webster done it very, very often.
Yeah,
Basuma got him out of jail a few times as well, but Webster gave the ball away so many times during that first half spell. And that wasn't deep.
Even in the second half, I remember him. I think he gave the ball away at least twice in the second half as well. I think Webster, he's got the potential, because he's still 24, 25. So he's still got a long way to go. He's still learning. He's still playing the Premier League, at that level, coming from the champ from Bristol City. So I think he's still got a lot to learn. But it wasn't his best performance. And also, I want to talk about Dan Burn as well, because I personally thought he done really well, at parts where, when he's running for balls. I remember there's 2 incidents where he busted a gut to get the ball and keep it in, keep the ball alive, and he's good, But my question to you boys is, right, should he be playing left back? I personally don't think he's a left back. So I don't know.
Right. He definitely isn't. But yeah, you go, Ryan.
Yeah, sorry. I slated Burn, didn't I, last week, and you guys disagree with me. But no, today he was good. I think he was good today. I thought, that I was actually saying it during the game. I was like, I can't slate Burn today because he's been up and down. He's been doing well. So to be fair, I'm always on the side that he's not a left back. But with March out, there was not much choice really, was there? I mean, we've got Bernardo, Bernardo's he's not maybe the player he was in 2018, 19. I think putting Burn there was probably the right choice, because otherwise who else are you going to have there? It's only Bernardo.
We've got to give him credit. We have to give him credit. Let's not forget, his whole life he's been a big centre back, and that's all he's probably been known for. Maybe when he was at school, he's a striker. But that's what I'm saying. He deserves so much credit to be put left wing back in the Premier League and to do a job there quite consistently. It's
I started, he did play really well. I'm not slating his performance, but I just question whether, I know we're talking about Bernardo and maybe he's not up to scratch and what we need, but I just feel like in that position. So the point I'm trying to make is, so for example, I don't know if you boys remember, but in the 88th minute when Lallana scooped the ball to him on the left wing and he absolutely shanked his cross.
It was like a clearance.
That for me, right, that just epitomised why you need a natural left, a left back or left wing back, for example, or left winger.
I do agree, but at the same time, sorry, Maz, to cut you off, but at the same time, that whole game, he's been putting some proper good crosses in. I think, he was putting in some, his left foot. I'm really surprised because, as you say, he's a centre half, and he's putting in these proper crosses that you wouldn't expect him to be doing. But
he nearly scored on the half volley as well, didn't he? That would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been sick. But then the argument is do you want him in the box though to be heading those in? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, he's not a natural left back, is he? But he's what we've got. We haven't got much choice. And Mark has been great.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
It's hard to
and,
get
the other one's Karbovnik, isn't it? That we've just signed. But we probably won't see him till next season, most likely.
It's hard to get the ball on Dan Burn's head, though, isn't it? When we're always doing short corners. Yeah. My friend Jamie sent me a message. I was absolutely hilarious. He goes, "Cause of death, short corners." And that cracked me up so much. He hates short corners, and it's frustrating when especially when they go back to the edge of the box, then we just completely lose the play. I just find that so pointless when you've got our big defenders.
That's literally the point I was trying to make. I was just about to make. We haven't got a short team. We've got Dan Burn, we've got Webster, we've got Ben White's got a good leap on him. It's not like we lack height, and why not put it into the box and see what happens? It's like it's weird.
I don't get it. And we've got Gross and McAllister who can take corners, and even March can put a decent cross in sometimes. So,
and when we do put the cross in, Ryan, it's normally Dan Burn putting the ball in, and he's the one who should be in on the end of it. It just does not make sense.
Yeah, that's true. But the weirdest part,
it's all a bit bizarre. But
is
I mean, what can we do? And then Oh yeah, so they were sort of the big talking points, I think. It wasn't really, like I said, I'm sort of struggling here, to be honest, to things to talk about.
Let's talk about Neil Maupay then. What do we reckon? Because I think the first half, his link up with Welbeck and Lallana, I liked it. It was fresh. Seeing three players link up like that, it was really good. But he had a couple chances, and you can just see the confidence is still lacking there.
Yeah, I feel like it's not maybe not well, it might be a confidence thing for all I know. But I remember I think it was 2 incidents in the second half, and then there was one in particular where Lallana actually had a go at him where he should have passed, and I think he tried shooting instead, and Lallana just went mad.
Was that when he should have cut back to Tariq? I think Tariq was.
I think so. Yeah, and I think Lallana just had a massive go at him, and I think it's just those little decisions where he's a bit greedy, and like he could have just literally laid it off to Lallana or Tariq, and then instead had a shot and think got blocked. But I suppose then that begs the question: is that what you want from your striker? Do you want him to be a bit selfish? I think all great strikers do have that selfish streak in them. So it's a tough one. It's frustrating because I think he's a good player, but he's just not. He's not playing that well at the moment. But I don't know about you, Ryan. I feel a bit like he's just missing that little spark, I think, that he had.
Yeah, I think, as we said about a couple of weeks ago, Maupay's confidence is down, isn't it, in front of goal in particular. But first half he was doing really well with the link up with Welbeck. It was looking really good. But again, it's a Maupay performance without goals, and that's been his biggest problem recently. And you see him at Brentford, he was so clinical. He scored every week nearly for them. He was their go-to guy for goals, and even last season for us. But it's the trouble with him is he misses so many big chances. It's just ridiculous. And I always try and defend Maupay because I really do like him, because I like him as a footballer as well as a goal scorer. But it's so frustrating because he could be so much better. If he tucked half his chances away, we'll be looking at a fantastic all-round striker.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I mean, I think that sort of just sums it all up, really. Like, it's just we're not taking our chances, and it's just really, really frustrating. But I'm going to read a couple of stats to you boys, and then we're going to sort of.
It was a game for stats. It was a game for stats.
Yeah. So the first one I'm going to chuck out is it was our first clean sheet at home since Newcastle at the end of last season, and the second overall since the win at Newcastle this season. So basically, I mean. It's good news, and also in summary, can we just play Newcastle every week?
Every week,
that's basically what we need. So what do you reckon, boys? Is it good? I mean, it's good that we've kept a clean sheet, but then at the same time, we're not scoring goals. So what do you think needs to change?
Yeah, well, it's the same stuff, isn't it? We're going to just keep repeating ourselves every single week. You may as well literally copy and paste this. We might as well just not film again and just do this every single week. It's just, it's so annoying. And
okay. I got a question then, Ryan. I got a question.
Okay, go on.
If you were manager, Ryan, if you were Graham Potter right now, okay, and the next game after the international break, the next game, what changes would you make for us to score a goal or win a game?
Why not just chuck Zakiri in there? Just do something a bit. He's not afraid to be adventurous. We've seen that. He doesn't care about dropping someone out. I mean, we've got Andone coming back in January by the looks with his recent tweets and Instagram posts. So it looks as though we're going to be having him back. Whether or not you guys are going to be happy with that, I don't know. But now I think I think maybe if he scores a goal, all is forgiven as far as I'm concerned. It's just
one goal, just one.
Score,
just need one goal,
exactly. And if he comes in and he scores, I'm going to love him again. So it's I think maybe next game, if it was me, I'll just chuck Zakiri. And apparently he's this one-touch finisher. He's this guy who can score goals. Why was he not even on the bench today? I don't know.
He's clearly got something about him for being on the bench last week. So he's obviously got something there.
But then, question again to you, Ryan: who would you drop then if you're going to put Zakiri in? You drop Danny Welbeck or Maupay?
That's it. On the back of today, it's difficult because first half Maupay was looking good. Welbeck did look good, but didn't score, and the same can be said for Maupay. So I'll drop Maupay purely based on the fact that he's had, a whole season that we know he is prone to missing these chances. With Welbeck, we've only seen him for 85 minutes, so let's give Welbeck a go with Zakiri. Why not? What have we actually got to lose at this point? Because we can't score goals, so just chuck someone else in there. I mean,
I want to disagree with you, Ryan, but I can't.
Difficult, isn't it?
It looks like we could have Jose. I don't know. Going by the under-23 squad, Jose Izquierdo wasn't in the squad, so people are now thinking maybe that means that he's getting a rest or getting ready for the first team now. But if he comes back and if he hasn't lost his pace, because basically that was almost his only talent, really. If he hasn't, a bit harsh. He obviously did have a bit about him as well. We saw that against West Ham twice, didn't we? So hopefully he'll bring back something as well, a bit of pace up on the left hand side, which we don't have because of Dan Burn. March is fairly quick, but hopefully Jose can bring some pace on that left hand side again. Because I was going back to Dan Burn thing. Let's say if we had that left wing back like Rico Henry, who's not of the quality of Lamptey, but similar type of player, would that take us to the next level if we had that kind of left wing back?
Well, look at Karbovnik.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to say to that, because he's meant to be the one, isn't he? He was on the top 10. I think he was in the team of someone's best young talents.
Was it Golden Boys?
Yeah, Golden Boys, something like that. Yeah, he was in that team. He had the left back role, so he's obviously got something about him. He must be a very good player. So maybe we've got that, but we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no, and going back to Rico Henry, Ben, I honestly would have loved to have seen us sign Rico Henry. I think he's one of those championship players that will thrive in the Premier League. I think he's one of those players that you looked at, the likes of Watkins, obviously not position-wise, but in terms of quality, like the Watkinses and the Benramas and, basically the Brentford's best player. But no, I would have loved to have seen him, to be honest with you, because if March is injured, which he is now, he's a perfect guy to step in or even start in front of him.
We were linked with him, weren't we? 2016 was it? He was from Walsall. So we've obviously got that connection with him. But I mean, as I say, with Karbovnik in now, I can't see us signing another left back for money. Not with him coming back in half a season or so. I think it would be a bit silly to probably go and splash out on a left back when we've just signed one coming back in next year.
I wonder if there's a January recall we can do. I know there's talk of the modal recall because of the Europa League, but I wouldn't mind activating that release clause. The recall on Karbovnik. I would not mind that at all. Yeah. Another option for Solly March instead of Bernardo and Dan Burn. Just obviously, I know we've been praising Dan Burn, but at the same time, I'd want a proper left back playing left back.
Yeah, that's basically what I was trying to get at. It's like he's a great player. He's great cover tab, great squad player. I just don't think when we need a left back, he's not the for me. He's not the answer. So we'll leave it with that one. And then the next stat I was going to throw out at you guys was Brighton's form at the Amex. So we've had no wins. No wins in 8 games at the Amex, and only 1 win in 13. Now, we're an absolute machine at home. But the question what I was going to say to you guys was, so I personally, so I'll start off with me. I personally don't think now with fans not being able to attend, I don't see how you can have home advantage. Now, I know you boys probably disagree with me, but I don't see how that's now an advantage, playing at home. Why is that an advantage?
Unfortunately, I agree with you. I think it is. I think it's level playing field, really, wherever you go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
can't really argue.
Why are we so much better away then? Why?
No, hold on, Ryan. You say we're much better away. I don't know the exact figures away, but I mean we've only beaten Newcastle this season in the Premier League,
and then Burnley previous to that. I think that was about it.
Yeah,
exactly. We win one game to be better than at home. It's not difficult, is
it? double our record just by 1 win. No, but it's just very frustrating. Hopefully we can just, let alone the home form, let's just improve the form overall. That'd be great.
Well, I don't know what it is. We're so consistent at having all these chances and never taking them. And I said this in the summer, but I know it's really easy to say, but can't we just spunk 25 mil, 30 mil on a proper striker? We've got everything behind it. All we need is that striker that will score the goals. Like Naylor said last week, Neil Maupay was a £60 million striker. He's not a 20-goal man. If we had that striker there, If we can attract the type of player to come.
Imagine if we had Jimenez from Wolves.
It's something like that, yeah. Imagine like the chances that striker would get. Some strikers looking to move will probably look at us, I hope, thinking I would like to play there because I'll finish those chances. If we had that striker, imagine where we would be. If we finished our chances, we'd be top of the league, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
No. I agree. No, it is very frustrating, and it's just like you mentioned earlier, Ryan. It's like we're repeating ourselves every podcast. It's just the same. It's the same thing. Like, oh yeah, dominate possession, play well, don't score goals, and usually concede. But at least we kept a clean sheet. So I'm looking at the positive sides. And then the final thing
before I forget. This is obviously a big talking point that we nearly missed. Where was Trossard? Anyone know?
Yes.
Groin injury.
Yeah, he was injured.
Is it? Okay, that clears that up then. Cheers, Ryan. Back to you, Maz. Back to you in the studio, Maz.
Back to you in the studio. Fabrizio.
Yeah, Fabrizio coming up trumps again.
Yeah. But no, at least that's positive that it wasn't like a weird... Like, for me, that's a good thing because at least it's not like a weird Potter decision that he's just sort of like axed Trossard or something.
Yeah, that's mad.
So, in a weird way, hopefully it's not a serious injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad he's injured, as long as it's not serious. And then, final thing from me then. So this is another sort of insert. Now, this is funny enough. This is from Sky Sport. So this is how they describe tonight's 0-0 draw with Burnley. This was a game that could put you off football for life. Two teams low on confidence who look afraid to make any risks to win the game. Brighton should have had this wrapped up in the first half, but Welbeck had an off day in front of goal, which I will go on to, but I think it's a bit harsh. And Burnley had one shot on target and offered nothing going forward, but were good value for their clean sheet. So let's start with you, Ryan. Go on, Ryan. You kick us off. What's your initial reaction to that?
Oh, they hate us, don't they, Sky Sports? They always have done. It seems like whenever I go on their social media page, they just have to somehow slate us for some reason. I remember when we sacked Houghton, and then it was literally the whole thing was just how much they wanted us to get relegated. Like, even all of the biggest pundits were saying, "Oh, Brighton will pay the price for this. Brighton will get relegated." Narrator comes over. They didn't get relegated.
They probably ripped into us, didn't they, for that Houghton? I remember loads of news outlets because they basically compared it, didn't they, to the Ranieri sacking of Leicester. They were like, oh yeah, Houghton done so well for Brighton. But I was just at the time, I was like, listen, he's been great, but we need a change. And I mean, I think it's been proven. But yeah, I agree. They don't really put us in a nice favourable light.
I agree with the quote, that Sky Sports quote though. I think there was a good 10 minutes during that first half where I actually fell out of love with football. Just watching Burnley dominate us, I was like, this isn't the sport for me. I was about to hand in my resignation for Seagulls Social, and I was just watching it thinking, this is not for me.
No, I agree. There was definitely parts where it was probably, if you did pay £15,
whoever paid 15 quid to watch that mug written across their forehead.
Yeah, Ben, so you better get that marker pen out and write mug on your forehead.
At
times it was atrocious.
That was my Moretti money for tonight if I was at the pub, and I'm not at the pub, so there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Basically a free game.
But I thought it was quite harsh on Welbeck, to be honest with you, because they said Welbeck had an off day in front of goal. Now, I know one chance we didn't actually talk about was when he was one-on-one with Pope. He took it down really, really well. Great touch. And then he tried taking it past Pope, and Pope obviously grabbed it off him. Now, obviously, that wasn't just his only chance. He did have a couple of other sort of half chances as well. But I thought it was a bit harsh on him, considering it was his first full start, and he's still sort of getting back into the swing of things. And I me, I've been his biggest hater since he came to the club. So the fact for me saying that, I mean, sort of speaks volumes. So I thought that bit was a bit harsh, but the rest of it I agree with. It was fucking atrocious.
That link up for his first chance was so nice though. Like Neil Maupay to Lallana, I think he got quite a lucky touch to flick it forward to himself. Lallana literally threw ball through Tarkowski's legs, I think it was. And I was thinking, here we go. Yeah, and of course we. Brighton, and there
was another piece of play. I think it was in the second half where I think it was like a little mini passage of play. I think it was between Lallana and a couple of other players. And I was like, I think it was Lamptey, Lallana, and someone else. And it was like an unbelievable piece of play where Lamptey flicked it on, Lallana scooped it up in the air, and it was like, and then we sort of fucked up the last chance. But
shock.
There was little sparks.
Story of our season.
Yeah, it was little sparks of magic, which I saw maybe twice in the whole game. But just to summarise the whole situation, it's a bit bleak. But like we said last week with Andy, we've got to have a bit of perspective. It's not the end of the world. We still got a long way to go.
He's taught me a lot.
Yeah. A wise man is that.
You see their quality that Lallana and Welbeck brought to the team, don't you? In that game, that was the first time I saw Lallana properly and thought, wow, he's a different level. And same when Welbeck
Yeah.
was like doing his stuff, I thought, yeah, that's a proper striker out there. Obviously, a proper striker should finish his chances, but we'll let him off, like you said. It's his first 85 minutes. Let's say it's his first full 90. I think the commentator on Sky Sports box office said. So he is obviously better than being Sports, obviously.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. I know. Well, I won't repeat what Ryan said to us in the group chat, but it was quite strong words.
It was bleak.
About his feelings towards the game,
referring to BHAFC.
But no, I think a lot of fans will be frustrated. And I think that's fair enough. Like I think we mentioned it on the last pod with Andy. Like it's one of those games where, again, we can sit here after a draw and be like, okay, it's a point against Burnley. But really, again, how we've said it before is like, okay, if we want to stay in the Premier League, we need to be beating Burnley. So I'm sitting here after a draw, and I still feel a bit upset that we haven't won. And it's just, it's a weird sort of. So weird. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just frustrating and but not end of the world. Frustrating, but not the end of the world.
It's just every time we just think, right, next game we're actually going to take our chances. Next game we will, and it is maybe we should just not do a podcast next week or for the next Premier League match. And if we win,
worth a go and see what actually happens.
Comment down below if we should stop podcast.
We haven't won a game since we started this podcast. We've not
tell them
won
this
one single game
because they'll tell us to stop making podcasts. They'll tell us to stop making them.
So if you've made it this far, if you made it 30 minutes in, just comment. If you're listening on YouTube, comment down below. Stop the podcast if you've got this far.
No, please don't.
We'll know you've been listening. But no, that's not a good omen. We need to get a win under our belts because then hopefully we can actually chat about all good things, positive and be happy for once. But it's just been all bit.
One day.
One day. I preempted a podcast title for this one. I was gonna, if Welbeck's I thought Welbeck was gonna have a good game. He did, to be fair, but I was thinking top podcast title. That guy Welbs, how good would that be? How good would that
be? It would be good
be?
if you got a winner, wouldn't it? But
so good.
So good. Right, well there you go then. That's pretty much the summary of that game. And so. Just another sort of point of topic, because obviously we don't have a game to preview because it's going to be international break.
Yeah.
So we're going to have which is quite a nice thing, I think, at this point in time.
We need it now, don't we? It's just
have a little break. But we're hoping to get a couple of guests on, aren't we, chaps? We're working very hard behind the scenes.
A few decent ones in the pipeline, haven't we, boys?
Yeah. So fingers crossed, we might have one during the international break. But aside from that, let's talk about quickly the news that broke this week about pay-per-view. So for anyone who's been living under a rock in the footballing world, they have actually scrapped it now. The pay-per-view, which is as you can tell,
thank God for that.
It's great news. So obviously, I think it goes without saying, boys, we're quite happy with that. Ben doesn't have to fork out 15 quid. I don't have to use a dodgy stream.
I hope they don't see my payment of 15 quid and think, oh god, we got a customer. Let's keep doing it.
I was watching text commentary, just to be completely clear. I was only looking at text commentary. I used it all in my head. I thought out the scenarios. That's why.
Great imagination on your own.
Ryan, you didn't miss much, mate. You didn't miss much. So. Probably better off, to be fair, but obviously a very good result for us fans. Really happy with that, and I think they're gonna now. If I think I'm right in saying they're just gonna basically spread it out now to like BT, Sky Sports, all the remaining fixtures. I think, so should be. If anyone's got the subscription, should be free to them in that sense. So that was pretty much the only other news. I don't know if there's anything else really, boys. I think we're pretty much sort of done for this week.
There's not a lot to be excited about, is there? I mean, it's so annoying, isn't it? It's not like we can be like, oh yeah, really excited next week. I reckon we'll get a result. It's just like,
Although actually, there was one thing just quickly on the England squad, because of course they're playing. I think they've got 3 games. I think over this period, I believe. I could be wrong, but of course, Lamptey didn't get a call up, which to be me personally, I don't think is sort of still justified considering the quality England have at right back. I'm not saying he's a great player, but when you got Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Who else? Got loads of options.
Carl
Walker. Wan-Bissaka. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's unjust.
I'm going to put an unpopular one in there then.
Go on.
I'm only going to put him behind Trent. I think he's above the rest.
Really?
I don't think, honestly, that James is that good. That's just my opinion. I only scored a banger against us, but compared to Lamptey... That
doesn't make him a better player just because he scored
one. No, I don't think he's better than Lamptey, in my opinion.
In what regard? What attribute?
I don't think him going forward, he's not better than him. Him defensively, he's not better than him.
Yeah,
simple as that. I don't think he's better than him.
I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. I'll be honest with you. I'll put my hands up. I haven't watched him apart from the game against Brighton. I haven't really watched him play that much, so I can't really say.
Like, he is good. He's like, I've seen him a couple of times in Champions League. He plays well. I just think I think it's a height thing. Sorry, you two can probably relate because you're both small.
Fair.
I think if
you haven't met me yet, Ben.
no, I think if Lamptey was like 5'9", 5'10", he'd be an unbelievable. He'll be an unbelievable right back. Like as good as he is now, he'd be even better just because of his height.
I think his pace, but he's a bit taller.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
But he actually has a bit of strength about him as well. Even at his
he's
height
very
now,
strong.
He's good.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is
what I'm
surprising.
saying. Like his strength, his height is not his height. His pace. That's why I like him so much because he's just like you don't really see him. The only person I can really see him identical to is Alphonso Davies, and look at him now. He's the only real player who's sort of similar to him.
That's the level Lamptey would be at if he was a bit taller, I reckon.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think they're so similar. But if he had that bit of I don't know, because he is
but then
strong.
They said Messi was too small as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan.
That's true.
You.
He's 5'8", by the way. It's the same height as me.
We got the short side.
Reece James is like proper stocky, isn't he? So I think you could fit two Tariq Lampteys and one Reece James.
That's the thing. And also, let's not forget about Dunk. I know he's suspended, but how is he still... Okay, I know we're probably going to sound like broken records, but how is he still not getting into that defensive lineup? Like, I just don't understand it.
They picked a suspended Maguire over Dunk, and that's when you know it's pretty rough.
Yeah. That's just mental, innit? Like, any Man United fan, I think any footballing fan can tell you Maguire is going through a horrid time at the moment, off the pitch and on the pitch.
The could use a break.
He needs a break, yeah, exactly. So just drop him, put Dunk in there. He's better than him at the moment. So I just... the mind boggles. I'm liking
that Solly March. I like the fact that Solly March is coming into the talk and like the options that we've got a left back now.
Yeah, it says a lot.
Yeah,
at the wrong time. It's really annoying.
Very, very, very true. Would he have made the difference today? Would he have made the difference against Burnley today? Do you reckon?
Although saying that, Burn was good, wasn't he? So it's hard to say that really.
I can't think what more March would have offered as well as
maybe beating players.
Maybe.
Trossard as well. Do you think we missed Trossard?
Oh yeah, definitely missed Trossard because he wouldn't be afraid to shoot and cut inside and do something. Because when Trossard's on his day, he's one of our best players without a doubt.
Yeah,
I think,
but when he's not, he offers next to nothing. That's the only trouble.
I think it's worthy of a shout as well. And I'm one to slate him usually, but Pascal Gross done okay. He was pretty good.
Well.
He wasn't too bad.
I agree.
I don't like saying that, but he did do well.
I think.
Yeah,
I think Lallana's getting the best of him completely.
I think Potter puts him right hand side with Lamptey just because of how good Pascal is at passing. I think he's that type of player that needs to be putting those through balls for the overlap. That's the only reason I can think that Pascal Gross will be playing on the right hand side. I can't think of any other reason really.
Well, boys. Well, I think that's pretty much the end of this week's
somber episode.
Very somber. I feel like there's been a death. I feel like I'm at a wake or a funeral, and I'm giving the eulogy at the end. But no, I'm sure. Hopefully, I think the international break could do us well. Hopefully, we sort of rest up. I don't think there's too many. Well, actually, we've got a few players going out to international duty, but not too many. And hopefully, they can sort of rest up. Get ready for the return, and fingers crossed we can get a win on the board.
One positive to end the episode. At least we're not Burnley fans. Because I would not. They're going down. I'm not being bitter, but I would not like to be a Burnley fan. Like watch my team every single week. They don't play fun football, really, do they? I wouldn't want to watch my team go to the Brighton and get 10 blocks and think that was a good performance. That's just me. What you said, they go down. I don't know. I don't think they will go down.
You don't?
No.
You don't think? I agree, Ryan. I think
they're just rubbish. They're just so bad.
And they? I think the commentator said they hadn't scored. They scored like 1 goal in 10 games or 9 games or something like that. Maybe that's too much. Actually.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. We complain about us not scoring, right? And we're struggling in front of goal. They're on a different level. Like they are really, really struggling.
Their last goal was against Newcastle, and I'm not sure. I think that was like their second game of the season, maybe.
Oh yeah, look at Newcastle.
The ones you beat, easy win.
Yeah, we play you every week.
Yeah, can we pay every week? Yeah, but no, I think that just sums it all up. Really, the fact that Burnley, you can't hit a barn door. We can't do the same. It's just a bit. It just makes
they can't
you
even find the barn door. That's a difference.
Yeah, no, that's a really good analogy, Ron.
Ron.
That's a really, really good analogy. We know how to get to the barn door, but we just cannot hit it.
We just can't.
We've got the banjo, but we can't hit it. We can't hit the barn door.
That's the pod title. We got the title already.
Yeah,
the barn door. Don't know what to do with it.
Can't hit the barn door with a banjo.
Right. Well, as always, thank you very much for tuning in. And if you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help sort of push us out there. And also, as well, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple as well, make sure you're sharing the links as much as you can. It'll be much appreciated.
And great, of course, thanks for the feedback on the last episode as well. That was class.
Yeah,
so many
really
lovely
good
comments and messages. So that was great. Thank you.
And I think at the time of recording, I think we were on about 450 views on YouTube, which is
decent for us.
Amazing. Yeah, so really thanks for everyone tuning in. Really appreciate it. And like you said earlier, we've got some very exciting guests. So it should be bigger and better going forward. So make sure you're tuning in and following and everything like that. So check us out on all our socials on Twitter and Instagram, Seagulls Social, and we shall see you next week.
Peace. Go on, Ryan. So give us a peace.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
Brilliant.